Hello lettering friend, I'm Sarah from Ensign Insights. In this video, I'll share a tutorial for this mood board. I created this journal challenge for October to create a mood board with 13 things that feel like magic. If it would help, you can download this worksheet and prompts in the lettering library. You don't have to use it. You can just follow along with this video and still make something really cool, but it's there for you if you want it. If you join me and create your own mood board, yours may look totally different because it's about you. And that's the best part about hand lettering, is your own creativity. If you could use a little guidance today, I'm going to walk you through each step of this mood board. So first, you will open up your journal. I'm using my Archer and Olive 8x8 square dot grid journal. And then just start drawing your boxes. The challenge calls for 13 boxes and you can do them any shape and size. If it feels too complicated, you could even just draw 13 simple squares or do 13 circles, whatever shape you want. If you happen to have a square journal, here are the dimensions of my boxes if you like my layout. But there's no right or wrong way to do it, just create 13 boxes. The second step is to choose your pens. I'll be using these Amazon Basics brush pens. They have a great brush tip and I of course love that they have the dual tip so I can use both. I went through every color and decided on my main 7 colors. This is a slightly different color palette for me. It's still rainbow because that's what I love, but I chose colors that would feel a little more like Halloween. I know you may think that sounds crazy because these are not Halloween colors, but I chose the orange, the green, and the purple, and then added other ones that looked good with it. I chose that teal instead of a blue for that reason. You might choose actual Halloween colors or fall October colors, whatever feels like magic to you. I'm just not really into spooky things, and that's okay. And then I always use a pencil, and I love my gold Uniball Gel Impact Gel Pen to add gold details. And then I'll also be using my black Micron pen to do some of the lettering and some details. This next step is optional, so I filled out my mood board worksheet just to spark some ideas. Maybe it'll help you, but it's not necessary. The challenge has 3 colors, 2 patterns, 2 songs, 3 words, and 3 quotes, and that adds up to 13. You could definitely change that to whatever is meaningful to you, but this just gives you a good starting place. Feel free to pause the video on the magic quotes or words if you need some ideas. There are so many good ones, and I wanted to have a lot of options so I could choose the length of quote that fits into the box that I'm working in. Now we're finally getting started on the actual page. I am starting by adding the title to my mood board. I'm using these stamp letters that I haven't used in so many years, and I rarely even used them before. Doing this, I remembered why. They are hard to see where I'm placing them, and the ink takes way too long to dry. I have to admit, it looks super cute with the stamped letters, but I probably will not be using it much in the future. It's too much of a hassle. And then I'm using my Micron pen to write magic, and I went in later with gold, adding the drop shadow, and then I even added some stars, and that's not here, but you'll see that in a little bit. Starting with the first prompt of 3 colors, I used these 3 boxes that were side by side. However, I ended up really not liking how they looked in the end, so I did correct it by cutting up a page in my journal, and I will show you that when we get to that part. The next prompt I'm doing is the songs. So I saw this really long wide box and I had a great idea to do a piano in it. I really love the Piano Guys and their songs don't usually have lyrics, so I thought this piano would be perfect. And of course I did rainbow keys and then simply wrote the Piano Guys in the white keys. Piano Guys songs definitely feel like magic to me, and that's the point of this mood board. It's finding the little pieces of magic in our lives. For your song boxes, you could letter the artist or the song title or some lyrics you love. It doesn't have to be huge, just fill the box. For the next song, I chose to do it in this little rectangle, and I'm doing the song Unstoppable by Sia. I've just been loving this song lately. I used the fine tips of my brush pens, and I ended up adding multiple layers to thicken up my letters a bit, so those colors would stand out more. And there was no real reason I chose this box for this one. So don't feel too much pressure to put everything perfectly in exactly the right box. It doesn't really matter which box you choose. You can still make it look good. The next prompt is for the 3 words. I have these 3 boxes side by side up here, so I thought this was a good spot for them. I wanted the rainbow stripes as the background, and then on my worksheet I had written out lots of words that I like, just words that feel good to me. So I just chose 3 that were about the same length that would fit in these boxes. I lettered these with the fine tip, and I did faux calligraphy to add the downstrokes manually. That way I could control the size of the words better. So if I were to try it with the large brush pen, they wouldn't quite fit in this box. If I was using a smaller brush pen, they probably would fit a little bit better. But faux calligraphy works great. And I also added some gold stars, but you'll see that later. Next, I have these 2 boxes for patterns. You can see I chose my quote boxes and penciled them in already. I wanted to do the patterns first to see how much color I would want to add to the quotes. So for the first box, I had this idea to use my skinny washi tape, and I chose colors to match my markers, but I didn't have yellow skinny washi tape, so I had to use gold dots, and I didn't have pink. I used black instead. I love this idea, but I don't know if it's the greatest just because the colors are slightly different, but it does make me want to use more washi tape in the future, and it was definitely something fun to try. For the next pattern box, I decided to keep it really simple and just do little lines lined up like confetti. It still has all the colors, but a more muted feel than the really bold pops of color. And I realized I needed more of that because this is kind of becoming an explosion of color, which I love. It's just a lot. And now we're getting into the 3 quotes. For the first one, I'm starting with a rainbow. I didn't want this one to be full of color, so I just used the simple black monoline lettering with a thin rainbow. Like I said, I needed to find more places to add white space since I tend to go overboard when adding color, and that's totally fine. I was just trying to pull back a little in this box. For the second quote, I wanted this one to be pulled back a little as well. I did a simple monoline lettering and then I just did a little highlighting. But it's not a true highlighting that's centered. It's just on the bottom half of the words. I really like the look of this. I purposefully planned to have 7 lines here so I could use my 7 colors. And I think this is one of my favorite boxes. I really love how it turned out. And isn't this a great quote? Look at this life, all mystery and magic, from Harry Houdini. I thought that was great. And for the third quote, I filled the circle. I love laying out words inside a shape like a circle and trying to fill out the whole space. I did the monoline lettering and then I added the faux calligraphy to magic to help it stand out a little bit more. I loved this quote, magic is something you create, because there's so many things in life that do not feel like magic, but whenever I'm getting creative in my journal, that does feel like magic. I decided to add the colorful stripes to the background, and by the way, I can do this because Micron pens are waterproof, so as long as it's completely dry, the marker on top won't smudge it. If you use a water-based pen, like these Amazon Basics brush pens are water-based, it's not waterproof and you won't be able to go on top of it without smudging it. And that was how I was able to do the highlighting in the last quote as well. Okay, finally we're getting to what I did with these 3 colors. I just didn't love how it looked. So I cut out a corner of a page later on in my journal. I'll have to figure out what to do with that page in the future. I glued this piece over the colors and you can't even tell, it was perfect. Then I drew in 6 squares and I filled them in with the rainbow colors. I also added some gold stars and I love how it turned out way more than the original way. I just need my rainbow colors everywhere. I can't only have 3. So I know this means it's not 13 boxes anymore, it's 16, but that's okay. This is my magic mood board, which means I get to create it however I want and you get to do the same with yours. I hope this video helped. If you make your own magic mood board, I would love to hear about it in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.